Could Thailand be the next country to jump on the Bitcoin bandwagon? Nation-state FOMO is heating up, and the race to accumulate more Bitcoin is more intense than ever. There are already a lot of positive signs coming from Thailand that suggest that they might soon make a move into Bitcoin. In this video, we're going to discuss what these signs are and why Thailand might soon embrace Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. We're also going to discuss what this means for Bitcoin's price and, of course, for its global adoption. So stick around until the end because this is going to be a very insightful video. And if you enjoy watching videos like this one where I break down complex topics and developments within the globe and the entire financial system and the crypto space, then make sure to like this video and to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be posting regular videos just like this one where I help you to make sense of complicated topics so that you can position yourself for maximum gains in this market and so that you can make sense of everything that's going on. So let's dive in. Is Thailand going to be the next country to buy Bitcoin? All of that is happening while nation states right now are FOMOing into Bitcoin. So Thailand is a country in Southeast Asia. Here you see it on the map. It's positioned right between Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Malaysia. Now, the Thai economy is actually a very rapidly growing economy. Over here you see the current size of the economy is somewhere around $514 billion. That was in 2023. And it competes with similar economies like the Philippines and Vietnam, although the Thai economy is slightly bigger. So so if you compare Thailand to Philippines, so Thailand has an economy of 514 billion, Philippines 437 billion, Vietnam 429 billion. So yeah, Thailand is a slightly bigger economy. Well, within the field of economics, whenever we are comparing economies, we don't only look at the GDP, which is like a measure of the entire economic output of a country, but we also look at the GDP per capita. So what is the economic output per person within the economy? And when we then compare Thailand with Vietnam and the Philippines, we see that Thailand is actually doing much better, almost double as high as Vietnam and Philippines. So yeah, Thailand is definitely a very interesting economy. People are doing well compared to neighboring countries. So when we look at the export sector of Thailand, we see a growing line. So Thailand is exporting quite a lot. And when we're looking at a breakdown of those exports, we see they're exporting a lot of electronics, electrical machinery, vehicles and parts, rubber, plastics, precious stones, metals, minerals, oil. So yeah, there's a lot of export that's happening from Thailand, which is great. The Thai economy is also quite dependent on tourism. Here you see that in 2017, 2018, 2019, roughly 18-19% of the Thai economy was driven by tourism. But then something happened in 2020. Yep, the global pandemic, which caused a slowdown in the tourism sector. So we saw that it went from 18% all the way to 5%, 2%. Then it started to bounce back slightly, but not to the levels prior to COVID. So when we're looking at the Thai economy on a global scale, you see that it is one of the most visited places in the world. Which again enforces the point that the Thai economy is very reliant on on tourism. But then when something like a global lockdown happens, well, then they need to innovate. They need to find new sources of revenue. And Thailand made a very interesting U-turn, a very interesting plot twist. What happened in Thailand? Well, here you see a newspaper article from the Bangkok Post, which was published on the 30th of July 2013, stating that the virtual currency Bitcoin was banned. A Bitcoin exchange in Thailand says it suspended trading after officials declared the virtual currency illegal in a setback for efforts to bring it into the financial mainstream. So now, a few years later, we saw this article in 2018. the Bank of Thailand allows banks to open subsidiaries for crypto dealings. The Bank of Thailand has permitted banks to set up branches that may issue tokens, invest in cryptocurrency, and run crypto-related businesses. So within a period of 5 years, you see that slowly but surely, the Thai regulators are starting to make a slow U-turn. So they're opening up the doors to the crypto space. Here you see an article by Tech in Asia. It states that crypto exchange Bitcup, which is, I believe, the first exchange in Thailand, the biggest one. Crypto exchange Bitcup enters Unicorn Club after SCB acquisition. And SCB stands for Siam Commercial Bank. So the Siam Commercial Bank has announced that it will acquire cryptocurrency exchange Bitcup through its subsidiary SCB Securities. So what are we seeing over here? We're seeing that the crypto space is merging with the traditional financial space. So one of Thailand's largest banks, SCB. And what we're also seeing is that we're seeing these lobby groups pop up. So the Thai Digital Asset Association was formed, funded by the crypto space, and it is basically helping Thailand and Thai regulators to embrace the crypto industry. This is something that we're also seeing happening today in, for example, the US. There's a lot of political action committees which are helping politicians to get elected, which can push a certain pro-crypto agenda forwards. And here we see one of such lobby groups in Thailand, which is also very interesting to see. Here, according to Techopedia, states that Thailand joins one of the few countries offering crypto tax breaks. So this is an article published on the 8th of January. So again, if we scroll back, we went from the Thai government banning Bitcoin to now having the Thai government offering crypto tax breaks, which is very interesting. And this comes at a time. So remember, we had in the early 2020s, we saw this global lockdown, and the Thai economy had to reinvent itself to grow new industries, attract new capital, attract new talent, because it had to fill up some kind of gap that it lost in terms of tourism. And Thailand is very good at it. It's a country that keeps reinventing itself, that keeps coming up with creative, innovative policies and guidelines to boost the economy. And that's why the Thai economy is actually one of those leading economies in Southeast Asia. Of course, you know, if you compare it to China, it's uncomparable. It's of a different magnitude. But if you compare it to similar countries in the region, Vietnam, Philippines, for example, then it's very well positioned because it has such great innovative policies. So here are a few takeaways from this new policy and guideline from the Thai government. Thailand exempts cryptocurrency traders from a 7% VAT, aiming to position itself as a leading hub for digital assets in Asia. The tax exemption reduces trading costs, stimulating economic growth following challenges like slow exports and the pandemic, which impacted the tourism sector. It also enhances Thailand's attractiveness to investors and startups, fostering innovation and investment in the crypto sector. So that's what we just discussed. When we're zooming out and we are comparing the crypto adoption of Thailand with other countries around the world, then you see that actually Thailand is number 10 in the world in terms of crypto adoption. And this leads to the fact that Binance, which is the number one exchange in terms of trading volume worldwide, and they have, of course, a very large team of analysts. They're very well connected. And based on their research, they identified that the Thai economy is a key market for crypto expansion. So they also started to double down on the Thai market because they saw that there was a lot of really interesting developments going on. Now, the Thai SEC, which stands for the Securities and Exchange Commission, proposes new rules for crypto investments in mutual and private funds. So here, Thailand's SEC is trying to update domestic regulations to reflect the changes and opportunities in crypto investing globally. So again, we've come a long way in Thailand from seeing Bitcoin being banned to coming up with all of these very favorable laws and regulations and frameworks. And this resulted in the fact that Thailand approved its first Bitcoin Spot ETF. This happened in June of 2024. So Thailand was one of those first countries that embraced Bitcoin Spot ETFs. We saw a wave of countries coming out with their own Bitcoin Spot ETFs. We saw, for example, the US, of course, where it all started. We saw Korea, we saw Hong Kong, Thailand. And yeah, I think that's a really great indicator. They want to be part of the first wave of countries that embrace Bitcoin. Here's another interesting article which I found on Cointelegraph. It says that a major Thai bank's venture arm set up a $50 million fund to invest in blockchain and DeFi. So again, we see entities within the traditional financial system, in this case a major Thai bank, which wants to get involved into blockchain and DeFi. And I do believe that this is very interesting because in the West, when I'm talking about the West, I mean Europe and the United States, there is not an insane amount of innovation happening in terms of laws and regulations. Oftentimes, the government fights to maintain the status quo, the establishment. They're protecting the interests of the banks. And here in Asia, we're seeing something different happening. You know, these Asian economies, they adapt to the changing environment. And I do believe that you could almost make a parallel to Charles Darwin's theory, the theory of evolution. So the theory of evolution states that not the strongest one survives, but the ones that are able to adapt the most to a changing environment, those will survive. Those will be the winners. And I do believe that that holds true. And that philosophy is stronger in Asia than in Europe. They're more willing to adjust and change and adopt new technologies and developments. So you also see that back into the ownership of cryptocurrency. So when we're looking at these statistics, you see that Thailand has one of the highest ownership of crypto. So this is measured in the percentage of internet users, which are aged between 16 and 64, who own some form of crypto. I do believe that this gives a little bit of a skewed perspective. Why? Because probably a larger majority of the younger ages within this segment owns crypto, and the older ages within this segment probably do not own that much crypto. Maybe they also have a much younger country compared to other nations within this list. For example, in the Netherlands, we have a very aging population. In some of these Asian countries, they might have a younger population, which also skews the data. Nevertheless, I do think it's a very interesting statistic. Thailand is leading the way in terms of crypto ownership. Now, here's another article by The Banker, and they're basically saying that Thailand pioneers central bank digital currencies in Southeast Asia. So, of course, Thailand is coming up with all of these favorable laws and regulations for crypto. This is a development that I don't really like that much. I'm not that big of a fan of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, because I do think they're kind of a dystopian invention that could be used to control the population. For example, if the government can track everything that you can do with your money, they can already do that almost. But they might also program certain rules into your money that you're not allowed to spend your money on certain items or services, whatever. Yeah, that's a whole different topic that we could go into. But Thailand is also experimenting with CBDCs. Now, the former Thai Prime Minister, he came out and he said that he believes that Bitcoin is going to go to $850,000 per Bitcoin. Now, he is not the Prime Minister anymore, but the current Prime Minister of Thailand, who is his son, He says that Thailand should study the potential of Bitcoin as a legal tender. So in case you don't know what a legal tender is, it basically means that Bitcoin should be used or could be used as a legal form for payment within the country. One big example of a country that has adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender is, of course, El Salvador. So El Salvador, I believe, came out 4 years ago with these new rules and regulations that made Bitcoin a legal tender within the country, meaning that you could pay with Bitcoin in shops, restaurants, hotels, and basically everyday situations. Now, the fact that the former PM and the current PM are talking about studying Bitcoin and the potential of Bitcoin is very interesting. So also, we're seeing news coming out that Thailand, Phuket, which is a region of Thailand, is now piloting Bitcoin and crypto payments for tourists. So my whole conclusion of all of these articles and headlines, which I've shared with you in this video, are that Thailand is a very innovative economy. They're willing to change and adopt rules and regulations to embrace new technologies and developments within the world. And one of those developments is, of course, the rise of Bitcoin. And I think I always boil this down to game theory. Game theory is how can you find the most optimal scenario for multiple players within the game. This game that we're playing is the adoption of Bitcoin. So what if you are an early adopter of Bitcoin, let's say even as an investor? The early investors that invested in whatever, 2010, 2011, 2012, that are still holding Bitcoin, well, they are multi-millionaires, deca-millionaires, centimillionaires, some even are billionaires. They were willing to take the risk early, and they're now rewarded by massive capital gains. Similarly, when you as a country adopt Bitcoin early, like El Salvador did, El Salvador accumulated so much Bitcoin right now that they're grabbing all of the headlines worldwide. They're getting so much attention, and because of their innovative perspective on finances, they now no longer need external financing. So El Salvador is now known as the El Salvadorian miracle. And when you now as a government hear all of the success that El Salvador is having, that will trigger you to evaluate whether you should also adopt Bitcoin or not. Because there's a lot of advantages to adopt Bitcoin as a country right now. So one of those advantages is that a lot of investment will grow, will come to your country. A lot of talented people will come to your country. You will be known as an innovative country. You will be known as the great innovator. So again, that attracts new capital, new talent. So there's a lot of really great advantages. Of course, there's also some downsides to adopting Bitcoin as a country, because you need to come up with new laws and regulations. The establishment, the banks might not be very happy. Although I see that in the Thai economy, all of these examples which we just discussed, I see that banks are actually embracing Bitcoin, blockchain, and DeFi. And like the law of Darwin that we just mentioned, the law of it's not the strongest one that survives, but those that are willing to adapt the most to a changing environment that survives. And I see that happening. The government is willing to change laws and regulations. Banks are willing to embrace Bitcoin, crypto, DeFi, blockchain, etc. So they're already looking into Bitcoin. They're already running a pilot. And I do believe that a next logical step could be that Thailand embraces Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. This is purely speculative. This video is meant to show you the slow but gradual domino effect that is playing out in individual economies like Thailand, but also on a global scale. The Thai economy is not the only one that's talking about Bitcoin. Of course, you know, the big example is the US, President Trump, which will be inaugurated soon, if not already by the time that this video is live. They're also talking about turning the US into the crypto capital of the world. And I do believe that countries are just like sheep. They're just like retail investors. We just need to see a few big countries adopt Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. And I do believe then afterwards, the domino effect is going to kick in at an accelerated pace, and we're going to see more and more countries get into Bitcoin, just like they are accumulating gold and holding gold as a strategic reserve asset. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts after hearing all of these developments within this video. Do you think that Thailand might actually be one of the next countries that is going to adopt Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset? Let me know in the comments if you think so. All right, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, do me one quick favor. Please smash the like button. That gives me the feedback. It will tell me that you at least got some good value out of this video. And if you haven't done so yet, also make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be posting regular videos just like this one to help you to gain an advantage in the crypto market. My goal is to help as many of you to cross that finish line and to help you to achieve your goals. And we do so by staying informed about everything that's happening in the market. Now, thanks for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.